know, it's just a matter of how much work you want to put into it, and you still need a little luck in this business. You still need a little luck to be the right place, right time, all that other kind of stuff. So, you know.
Who's an example of someone that you've gigged with like for 20 or 30 years who put in the hard yards and then had their big moment um really late towards like 20 or 30 years in?
Oh, and that's a big star now, or not a big star?
Both. Both.
Oh, well, shoot, hell, listen, there's a whole bunch of guys. Uh, listen, let me tell you my fight, brush with fame. I'll tell you
Uh,
that show. Tell you my story. Um, I don't know if you remember in the UK. I don't know if you got the show called In Living Color. Did you guys get that show?
I don't think
Or do you
so,
guys
but
remember that show? Okay. Well, In Living Color was like it was like Saturday Night Live, which was edgier, but it was edgier and it was funnier. And it was created by Keenan Wayans of the Wayans brothers, right? And it's the TV show that launched Jim Carrey. Okay. So when they were auditioning for that show, they were searching all over America, right? And so what they would do is they would bring in a bunch of comics, and they'd only let you do improv. You had to do improv. So they'd give you a scenario and just say go, and you would do whatever, blah, blah, blah. And every week or every 3 days, they would cut the group down, cut the group down, cut the group down. So you keep getting callbacks. Like one day I was in Phoenix and they say, hey, you have a callback for In Living Color tomorrow. Can you make it? I go, yeah, I'll be there. Well, they keep rolling. Well, needless to say, I make it down to what they call the producer's cut. Now, we're doing improv in front of the producers of the show, right? And Damon Wayans was there. Now, Damon Wayans didn't have to audition because his brother's Keenan Wayans, so he ain't got to audition. His brother created the show. Jim Carrey didn't have to audition because Fox wanted Jim Carrey on the show. But the rest of us, we had to audition. So we get down to the last audition, and we're doing. I remember my audition. My three things were: I was with 4 comics. It was all of you guys are very effeminate, and the doctor wants to make you more masculine. Go. And you had to make up a story from that and go and blah 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 blah. And then they did. All right, all you guys are very macho, and he's trying to make you more effeminate. Go. And we had to make up a story and blah, blah, blah. You know, we're telling the jokes and had to keep it going, had to keep the flow. The third one was the 4 of you 2 are pilots. I was a navigator. One guy was a flight attendant. The engines are falling off your plane one at a time. Go. And we made up a story and blah, 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 yada, 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 yada. So I go home and I get a call from the casting woman. Her name was Robbie Reed. And she goes, hey, did Keenan call you? I go, no. She goes, well, stay by your phone. You're going to get a phone call. All right. So sure enough, Keenan Wayans calls me. He goes, hey, I'd like to tell you, congratulations. The producers really love what you did. Yada, yada, yada. We want to make you, if you don't know, we're doing this show. It's going to be like Saturday Night Live. And it's going to be a funny show and blah, blah, blah. And I have you, I think I'd like to use you on the news desk and this and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm crying. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. He goes, we're going to send a courier over with the contract. So just sign the contract, give it back to the courier. I said, oh, okay. You know, back then I didn't think about looking at it or or making a copy because there was no cell phone or nothing like that. Couldn't take a picture of it. So he said, we're in a hurry. So you got to sign it right away. And I think that was kind of a trick, but sign it, give it to the courier. So now I'm on the show and I'm telling everybody, oh, I'm on this show In Living Color. It's like Saturday Night Live. I'm going to the BMW dealership. Oh man, listen, I just signed this contract. I'll be making blah, blah, blah money. And maybe I'm gonna come by and pick up one of these cars. You know, I got the money spent. They ain't made a penny yet. And and then the network tells you, hey, listen, if you ever need anything, you call us. We'll see if we can get it for you. And I go, what do you mean by need anything? He says, well, if you want to go to a Dodger game or a Laker game. And it happened to be summertime. I said, can I get 4 tickets to the Dodgers? He said, sure. They send a courier. They bring him by things from, I'm getting invited to parties. I'm going to the makeup calls and everything. Oh my God, this summer was great. So now we're getting closer. The show starts I think the show's going to start in fall. And it's about, we're getting to late summer. So I get a call from Keenan and they go, hey, listen, I need you to come down to the office the next day. Right. So the whole cast is there. Everybody's there. Damon Wayans, Jim Carrey was there, Tommy Davison, Kim Wayans, everybody who's on the cast was there. So they go, Keenan says, listen, we've been cut from an hour show to a half-hour show because In Living Color originally was going to be an hour show, just like Saturday Night Live, but it was following the Tracy Ullman show. And Tracy Ullman's show was an hour, and they didn't want 2-hour shows back-to-back comedy shows. So he said, well, we're cutting the deal from an hour to a half hour. He said, and because we're doing that, we won't need as many cast members. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to cut a few of you guys. So I'm looking around going, well, I don't know who he's going to cut. He ain't cutting me. I got a contract. Yeah. I signed my contract. I don't know who getting cut, but it ain't going to be me. So that night we had to come down to the Laugh Factory and do another comedy show. Right now, here's where I kind of shot myself in the foot too. So I don't do characters in my stand-up. If we're doing an acting piece or whatnot, I'll do, I go and jump into a character. But in my stand-up, I just do stand-up, right? So, and I was telling Keenan, listen, what do you want me to do? Because I just do stand-up. Before we were doing improv. We're not doing improv tonight. We're just all doing stand-up. He goes, yeah. He goes, well, do your station wagon bit and do this and blah, blah, blah. He said, you'll be fine. So I go up and do my couple of minutes, blah, blah, blah. Going up behind me was David Allen Greer. Now, David Allen Greer goes on stage and he says, listen, I'm not a comedian. I'm an actor. So if somebody wants to maybe come up and do some improv acting bits with me, let's do that. Stupid me, instead of going on stage, because, something like this, the more time you spend in front of the producer, the better you are. I sit there and go, let him sink and swim on his own. I ain't helping him out. Wrong answer. So David Allen Greer goes up. Everybody goes up that night, blah, blah, blah. So next day I get a phone call. It's Robbie Reed, casting director. She says, hey, did Keenan call you yet? I go, no. She goes, oh, stay by your phone. So Keenan calls me, goes, hey, listen. He goes, we cut the show to a half hour. He said, we had to cut a few people. He says, when we got to your picture, we put it aside. You were the last one we decided on. He said it was a coin toss between you and Tommy Davison. Now, you guys know Tommy Davison in the UK, right?
I don't, but I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, he's a big act in the States. He's a very funny guy, and me and him we're built alike. We're both smallish, thinnish. We would play the same characters, and that's what Keenan told me. He goes, you guys would probably play the same characters. He says, and Tommy does more characters than you. I said, no, he does more characters in his stand-up, but not, any character he do, I could do. He says, yeah, but the producers really liked him and his people talked to him. And so we're going to have to cut you from the show. Man, I tell you what, I was laying in my house in the fetal position. I was crying. Then I was mad. I was like, well, what about my contract? He goes, well, he says, if you had read it, we can let you out, but you can't leave out. Like, you can't quit, but they can let you out of the contract anytime they want. So that's pretty much what they exercise. So that was my brush with stardom. Hey, it happens. What are you gonna do?
Shit, man. Yeah.
So you listen, some people listen, I've had a pretty good career. Oh, don't nobody know who I am. People are gonna watch this podcast and go, who the heck is this guy? They don't know who I am, but I've had a pretty good career. I've done a lot of things. I've worked with a lot of people. I've worked with Gladys Knight. I've worked with Keith Sweat. I worked with John Legend. I've had a decent career. I can't complain. I wrote 2 movies. Things could be better, but things have been good.
But I mean, at the end of the day, though, I mean, with anyone in creative industry or perform or anything, we're doing what we want to do. And at the most
Right.
people never get to make a living out of doing what they want to do. And to me, as
Exactly.
a comedian, whatever the case is, if I make an all right living, can pay my bills and can get on with things in some way involved with comedy, I'm not bothered where I get to or any of that stuff. I just, as long as, because I like comedy, love making audiences laugh. I love doing the podcast. I love running comedy shows.
Mhm.
That's enough. That's more than enough. If that turns into something that's my full time living, pay the rent and all of that, I ain't bothered about any of that.
Right. Right. I work all over the world. I work cruise ships. I work for the USO. I do military shows. Next week, like I said, I'm doing a big convention for police department.